Peace, my name is God Allah Freedom. Yeah, a lot of gangsters in them, brother. Okay. Listen. Back then, they were the gangsters, brother. I'll be straight with you. They were the gangsters. They had knowledge of themselves, but they had a job they had to do. Yeah, they were the gangsters. I remember a few brothers, like Brother Norman 3X, who named Mr. Aziz. Now, I remember him. He was one of my karate instructors back then as a kid. But you know, I didn't get no real good formal training until I went to New York Goju Kai. You know, it was a Japanese martial arts school, you know, and I did that. The father was my greatest influence. Because, see, one day I was in the street academy as a kid, and he was in the back of the school, and I had my gi. And he said, "Oh, son, I see you train." I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what belt you in now?" I said, "Green belt." He said, "Come back there." So I went in the back of the school, and there was some milk crates that was standing up. And the father was sitting in the chair, looked like I'm sitting in the chair now. And he jumped up out of the chair and snapped the front kick, and the top crate, he knocked the top crate off, never hit the bottom of the crates. And I was like, "Oh, man, that's deep." You know, I see the father do the thing like he'd stand up and hold his legs straight out, and he would go all the way down to the ground with his legs straight up in the air. And then he would come back and say, "Son, you know, you got to do this here and learn how to get strong like that." And he'd show some reverse punches, and he was telling me how. He just said, "I'm so fast, man, this morning, and I beat my reflection." You know, and it was funny because I was like, "Wow, okay." He's like, yeah, you do. You know Zuma? He said, "You gotta be as good as Zuma, but Zuma is good." You know, Zuma was damn good. You understand? And Zuma was one of the best martial artists I've seen coming up. And had another brother, Zubar, who had changed his name to God. And I hear he's back teaching. He was doing a lot of martial arts, a lot of Wing Chun. Yeah, them brothers were very influential. And Moses Powell's people, I got in contact with Moses, a lot of his people. And that's how it was, you know. So I ran between Goju Karate and very strong Jiu-Jitsu. Then around 1970, you know, I made black belt in 1969. After I came home, when I was at the Oldfield, I got home July 11th, 69, myself, Sham God Army. I took tests for black belt, passed the test, and New York Goju Kai, and from that point, I just kept it moving. I started studying Jiu-Jitsu under Abdul Hakim Bilal, who was a 50-degree black belt under Moses Powell at the time, you know. So I stayed with him and Grandmaster Black Hawks and Carlos. Eventually I got my 50-degree black belt in 1985. And I started, actually in 1980. In 85, I recall I got my 60-degree black belt. And I started training other systems. You know, I went to Japan for a while. Yeah, I was in Japan for like maybe 6-7 months. You know, and that's basically history, guys, you know. Eventually I put my system together around 1987, form called Makotaru, which means the way of sincerity. The system combined with Goju Karate, Jiu-Jitsu, urban street combat, you understand? You know, but you know, basically, I got a lot of this information, a lot of things I learned how to do from actually putting it in the streets and doing it that way. So you get to know what works and what don't work, and then dealing with the Japanese and learning how to categorize things, you know. But I basically owe it to the father because if it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't have got into it, or let's say I wouldn't even stayed into it. But I was so amazed by certain things he would do and tell me, I just kept doing it. And in Harlem, you know, martial arts was 5%. Okay, I don't care where you went. You went, you the 5%, you're gonna learn how to train. The father wanted you to train. Brothers was trained on rooftops, brothers was trained in the parks, you know. Man, this was a wonderful thing then, man, you know. And brothers like God, man, this brother was great, man. You know, seeing him doing this thing in Al Rahim, I remember Al Rahim, man. Wow. That brother was phenomenal, man. And then I met a brother coming up, El Rahim, who used to be called Ezekiel. Okay, now this brother here, he was phenomenal too, man. You know, we used to be around Ho Young's restaurant, which was a Chinese restaurant that was on the corner on 27th Street. And he used to show me a lot of martial arts, a lot of things to do this. And we did a lot of things. I learned a lot of concepts from him. You understand? It was mandatory. You had to, because you were dealing with the science. You're dealing with protecting yourself, protecting the baby, protecting the nation. That's what you had to do. Because you was like, we didn't have an FOI, but these brothers knew their job as a vanguard. You was a baby coming around, they would let nothing happen to you. So growing up, you want to be just like them. And back then, that's the way it was.